England is full of remarkable history, but it's the lesser-known facts and mysterious places that make it truly fascinating. From ancient castles shrouded in legend to hidden tunnels beneath your feet, England's past is packed with surprises. 1. The secret passages of Hampton Court Palace. Hampton Court Palace, the grand residence of King Henry VIII, is a masterpiece of Tudor and Baroque architecture, but what lies behind the opulent halls is even more intriguing. The palace is riddled with hidden corridors and secret rooms. Some of these passages were used by servants to move unseen, while others were escape routes for the royals. One particularly eerie corridor, known as the Haunted Gallery, is said to be frequented by the ghost of Catherine Howard, Henry V's fifth wife, who was executed for treason. Visitors report hearing her screams echoing through the halls late at night. The palace's secrets reflect the dangerous and treacherous nature of life in Tudor times. 2. The royal prerogatives, powers you never knew the monarchy had. The British monarchy is often thought of as ceremonial, but the Queen, or now the King, still holds certain shocking powers that most people don't realize. For example, the monarch has the right to issue passports and declare war without consulting Parliament. The monarch also technically owns all dolphins and whales within 3 miles of the British coast. Another little-known fact, the monarch doesn't need a driving license. These ancient prerogatives are leftovers from a time when the British Crown had much more direct control over the realm, but some are still in place today, a quiet reminder of the monarchy's once absolute authority. 3. The enigmatic stone circles scattered across the land. Stonehenge is world famous, but did you know that England is home to hundreds of ancient stone circles, many of which are older than Stonehenge itself? These mysterious formations, such as Avebury and Castlereagh, are believed to date back to the Neolithic period, and no one knows for sure why they were built. Some archaeologists believe they were used for ceremonial purposes, others think they were astronomical calendars. The mystery surrounding these sites is deepened by the fact that many local legends tell of giants or ancient gods who placed the stones there. In some cases, locals claim the stones are cursed, and bad luck will follow anyone who moves or disturbs them. 4. York. A city built on Viking bones. The city of York is one of England's oldest and most historic, and its Viking roots run deeper than you might think. Originally a Roman fortress, York became the Viking stronghold of Jorvik in the 9th century. Vikings lived, traded, and even ruled from the city, leaving behind evidence that's still being uncovered today. Beneath the modern streets lies an entire Viking city, and in places like the Jorvik Viking Center, you can see remains of Viking-era buildings and artifacts. It's also believed that thousands of Viking skeletons are buried under modern York, making it one of the most important archaeological sites in Europe. York's rich history of invasion and conquest makes it a key city in understanding England's tumultuous past. 5. The mysterious disappearance of England's village. Have you ever wondered what happened to some of England's lost villages? Across the English countryside, there are more than 3,000 abandoned villages, often called ghost villages. Some were destroyed by war, others by disease or famine. One of the most famous is the village of Ember in Wiltshire, which was evacuated in 1943 during World War II to make way for military training. To this day, the villagers were never allowed to return, and Ember remains a ghost village, frozen in time. Visiting these lost villages is like stepping back into history, offering a haunting glimpse into the lives of people long gone. 6. The Tower of London's most famous prisoners. The Tower of London is one of the most famous castles in the world, and its history as a royal prison is equally legendary. Over the centuries, some of England's most famous figures were imprisoned here, including Anne Boleyn, Sir Walter Raleigh, and Guy Fawkes. But what's truly shocking is the sheer brutality that unfolded within its walls. Torture, executions, and even the occasional assassination were common. Tower Green, where Anne Boleyn was beheaded, is still a chilling sight today. And yet, not everyone met such a grim fate. Some prisoners, like Raleigh, lived relatively comfortably, even conducting scientific experiments from their cells. The tower's layers of history are a reminder of England's bloody, complex past. 7. The Roman roads that still guide England. You know that many of England's modern roads still follow the routes laid out by the Romans nearly 2,000 years ago. The Roman Empire built an extensive network of roads across Britain to move troops and supplies quickly, and some of these roads are still in use today. For example, Watling Street, now partly the A2 and A5, was originally a major Roman road connecting London to northwestern England. These roads aren't just practical remnants of the Roman era, they're also believed to be haunted. Over the centuries, there have been numerous reports of ghostly Roman soldiers marching along these ancient paths, reminding us of the empire that once ruled this land. 8. England's most haunted castle at Chillingham. If you're into ghost stories, Chillingham Castle in Northumberland is one of the most haunted places in all of England. This medieval fortress has a dark history of battles, executions, and alleged torture. During the wars with Scotland, Chillingham was a key stronghold, and prisoners taken within its walls were often subjected to brutal treatment. The castle's dungeon still contains torture devices that were once used on prisoners, and many visitors report seeing ghostly figures roaming the halls, including the infamous Blue Boy, who is said to haunt the castle's Pink Room. The eerie atmosphere of Chillingham has made it a must-visit for ghost hunters and history lovers alike. 9. The lost treasure of King John. One of the greatest mysteries of medieval England involves King John, who famously signed the Magna Carta in 1215. What's less well known is the story of his lost treasure. In 1216, while fleeing from an uprising in East Anglia, King John's baggage train carrying his crown jewels, gold, and silver was lost in the treacherous marshes near the Wash. The treasure was never recovered, and it's believed to be buried beneath the shifting sands and mud. For centuries, treasure hunters have tried and failed to find this royal loot, making it one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in English history. 10. The legacy of the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution may have started in England, but it left behind a shocking legacy. While the revolution brought technological progress and wealth to the nation, it also created massive social upheaval. Factories sprung up across cities like Manchester, Birmingham, and Liverpool, but working conditions were appalling. Child labor was rampant, and many factory workers lived in overcrowded, unsanitary conditions. The revolution also left behind architectural marvels, such as the world's first factories, bridges, and railways, many of which can still be seen today. While these relics represent England's rise as an industrial power, they also remind us of the human cost of progress. 11. The treacherous Smugglers Coast. England's coastline, particularly in the southwest, has a dark history of smuggling. During the 18th century, smugglers brought in contraband such as brandy, tea, and silk, evading the high taxes imposed by the government. The coastline of Cornwall and Devon became infamous for its smugglers, with secret coves, tunnels, and even entire villages involved in the illegal trade. One of the most famous smugglers' haunts is the village of Clovelly, where tunnels leading from the beach to the local pubs allowed smugglers to secretly move their goods. Even today, these smuggling routes are a fascinating part of local folklore and history. 12. The Enchanted Forest of Puzzlewood. Up in the Forest of Dean lies Puzzlewood, a magical forest that feels like something out of a fairy tale. This ancient woodland is full of twisted trees, moss-covered rocks, and mysterious pathways. It's believed to have been used by the Romans, and over the centuries, it has inspired many legends and stories. Puzzlewood has also been the filming location for many movies and TV shows, including Star Wars and Doctor Who. The forest's otherworldly atmosphere and deep history make it one of England's most enchanting hidden gems. England is a country that never ceases to surprise. Whether it's the ghosts of Chillingham Castle, the lost treasure of a king, or the hidden tunnels beneath its historic streets, this land is full of stories that will leave you speechless. Behind every ancient wall and under every stone, England's shocking history and mysteries continue to captivate and inspire.